Hey guys, today I'll show the short recap of a 2012 America comedy drama movie, 1,000 Words. The movie begins with a voice explaining that his name is Jack McCall. He then says that anyone listening to him only hears his inner voice coming from inside his head, not his real voice. He further says he wishes to speak out but can't, as it would only lead to his death. The next scene shows the same man Jack McCall speaking with someone named Aaron via a phone call about an important assignment for him to handle. Later that morning, he heads to a coffee shop where he sees a long queue. He tries to talk to a woman, but she dismisses him. He then tries to frame a call of his wife about to give birth to twins, which makes the people allow him to get the coffee on time to go meet her. He is later seen having a meeting with his doctor while holding the coffee plastic. After they discuss for a while, Jack checks his time and approaches to shake the doctor as he leaves for his office. On getting to his office, his assistant, Aaron Weisberger, comes to meet him and gives him an update on what had happened in the office. The following scene shows Jack having a board meeting where he discusses Dr. Sinya, the most popular non-denominational religious leader on the planet. He then plays a recording of Dr. Sinya talking and then analyzes his business strategy. One of the ladies then asks that if he gets an audience with Dr. Sinya, what makes him think he can make Sinya sign him? Jack proudly says that it is what he does, and he can talk anybody into doing anything. Later that day, Jack goes for a yoga session, and he causes a scene as the people are singing. However, it became known that Dr. Sinya was the one in charge of the yoga session. Jack tries to deceive them that he could see a blue pearl in a trance just so he can have a one-on-one conversation with Sinya. Jack's plans seem to work, and while talking, Sinya notices that he has come on a mission. Jack confirms his statement and tells him that he is an agent and has heard about his books. Jack tells him he has always wanted to represent people he believes and that he was ready to help him change the world. However, Sinya refuses him, and Jack tries on to convince him. While talking, Jack places his hand on a Bodhi tree which gives him a splinter, and we can see little of his blood stained on it. Jack promises to help Sinya publish his book and promote his philosophy, and they both agree on a deal. The next scene shows Jack driving and calling his assistant Aaron about his success with the deal. Jack goes to meet his mom, and he tells her about his deal and then wishes her happy birthday before leaving. On arriving home at night, Jack's wife Caroline shows him the picture of a house she would like them to move to. However, Jack isn't happy about this, and he tells her it's not possible. While Caroline heads to the kitchen, their house suddenly begins to shake, and Jack goes to check what went wrong. He sees a tree already planted in his house and notices it's the Bodhi tree that bit him at Sinya's place. Jack decides not to cut the tree after a man asks if he can put it down. Then as Jack leaves the place saying sorta classy, 2 leaves fall down from the tree. The next day at his office, Jack's assistant shows him the book Sinya sent over. Jack is surprised to know that the book is just 5 pages long. He collects the book and heads to Sinya's residence. The next scene shows Jack talking with Sinya. Jack tells him that he gave him a pamphlet and not a book, but Sinya tells him his book is a journey of self-discovery, which is fulfilled by page 5. While talking, Jack coughs and explains to Sinya that he is getting an allergic reaction from the tree he sent to his home. Sinya follows him home, and they notice that a leaf falls off the branch whenever Jack says anything. Jack tries to confirm it, and he is shocked to see it happening. In an attempt to get rid of it by using an axe, he is pushed by the tree as soon as he hits it with the axe. Sinya then tells him he would be going to Bolivia for a spiritual retreat, and he would talk with his colleagues there about his ordeal with the tree. Jack asks when he will be back, and he says in 3 days' time. He then advises Jack to stay quiet till his return. Jack wakes up from a nightmare where he sees leaves coming out of his mouth while laughing with a woman in a bar. He writes to his wife in a book before leaving and notices that every movement he makes towards the tree also makes a leaf fall off. Jack then heads to a coffee shop where he tries to use signs to talk with the barista. However, it only leads to Jack buying more as the man couldn't understand him well. On leaving the cafe, a blind man asks for his help to cross the road. Jack, who can't talk at the moment, is unable to respond to the man, which makes him think he can now go ahead. While trying to prevent the blind man from getting into an accident, Jack causes a scene on the road and loses all the things he got from the cafe. The next scene shows him using signs to discuss with his doctor. On getting to his office, Aaron tries to show him the messages he has, but Jack doesn't say anything. Some men come to meet him, and a woman tells him to tell them about Sinya's book. Jack then says life is a journey, and we could see some leaves fall down from the tree in his house. Later on, some rabbits are shown playing on the tree, and Jack also begins to shake his legs, meaning anything that climbs on the tree also affects his body. Later that day, Jack goes with Aaron to have a meeting with some men to seal a deal for Sinya's book. Someone is shown wetting the tree in his house, and Jack also begins to sweat all over his body. However, Aaron causes a scene, and the men cancel the deal. The next scene shows Jack in his son's school, and he is forced to join them in singing. That evening his wife tells him how happy she was seeing him and his son having a moment together. She then tells him to choose a day to always go there. Jack refuses and tries to explain to her why he can't, but she doesn't seem to understand him. Jack then goes towards the tree and tries to make a call to Bolivia so he can speak with Sinya. As he speaks, the tree leaf keeps falling off. Jack finally gets through to Sinya, who tells him that he is yet to get anything but will be back the next day to see him. The next scene shows Jack arriving at his office, and a woman named Miss Davis scolds him about the previous meeting deal she made for him. She then informs him about a new deal and tells him not to disappoint again. Jack speaks with a representative for the deal via a phone call, and he tries to use dolls to respond to the man. Jack is then finally able to strike the deal for a huge amount. The following scene shows Caroline discussing with her friend about Jack not helping her with taking care of their son. Her friend then hands a bag over to her. Jack is later seen entering a hotel to meet his wife, who had been waiting for him. However, Jack is unable to talk with her, and this pisses her off. She then asks him to let her know if he still loves her. Jack is unable to say anything, and she attempts to leave. Jack stops her and finally speaks out about the tree. She however doesn't believe him and tells him to get out of the room. Aaron calls him and informs him about his meeting. He however tells Jack that Sinya's book had been sent there, and this shocks Jack, and he hurriedly leaves the hotel. While at the meeting, some people are seen steaming the tree in his house, and this affects him as he begins to cough. Jack starts misbehaving during the meeting, and the men around watch him. A lady appears and informs them that the book is just 5 pages, and this surprises them all. The meeting is then cancelled as they all leave. Miss Davis scolds him for behaving like a child during the meeting, but he still continues his acts, making her fire him. The next scene shows Jack talking with Aaron in his house. He tries to use a drawing and sign to explain his ordeal to Aaron. Aaron was able to get his word but couldn't get his Jack point. This makes Jack drag him towards the tree so he can see what is really happening. Aaron is however not able to understand Jack. So Jack then tells him to wait behind as he goes around helping the needy and giving out donations in an attempt to know if the leaves would stop falling down. This doesn't work as any time he speaks, the leaves fall off. Jack notices that his wife has already packed her belongings and left with his son. He decides to go to a yoga session near the tree, where he has a flashback of his younger self. The next scene shows Jack going to meet Sinya in a restaurant, where he confronts him to help out with a solution. However, Sinya tells him there's no solution, but he would advise he needs to make peace with his inner self and anyone he has issues with. Jack goes home drunk, and Aaron appears to tell him some information about getting his job back. Jack goes close to the tree with anger and hits it with a bottle, but he feels the impact on him. He then begins to talk, and Aaron tries to tell him to stop, but he instead goes to play music and sing to end everything. Aaron tries to stop him, but he fights back. Aaron then knocks him out. Aaron then uses a tape to seal his mouth. The next morning Jack sees that most of the leaves have fallen off the tree, and he is later watering the tree. While he's doing that, a butterfly directs him to Sinya's book on the floor, which he picks up and begins to read. The next scene shows Jack making peace with everyone, and as he speaks, a leaf drops off the tree. He then goes to meet his mother, who calls him Raymond, and he responds by saying yes. It becomes known that Raymond is Jack's father's name, and Jack's mother always sees him as Raymond, not Jack. She tells Jack, who she sees as Raymond, that he should make peace with Jack. Jack then uses his lips to touch her forehead and leaves. The following scene shows Jack at his father's grave, where he gets a trance of his older self speaking to his younger self. Jack finally makes peace with his father, and as he speaks the word "I forgive you," the last 3 leaves in the tree fall off. Jack is then seen coughing and falling to the floor as it rains. Later that day, Aaron calls Aaron to inform him that the tree already came back to life and he can talk. The next scene shows Sinya congratulating Jack for writing a beautiful book about the tree. However, Jack stands up to hug him and thanks him for everything. The movie ends with Jack showing his wife a surprise at the home he finally got for them to live in. She's very happy to see it's the home she has always wanted him to come to see. So that's it for today guys. Hope you had an awesome day, and do not forget to cheer people around you. If you like the video, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for daily content like this.